Hello everyone, Josh from Adrenal Labs here, and today I will be going over the key module in Aalto. The key module is located in the top left corner, and what the key module does is it takes data sent from an incoming MIDI or OSC based controller and turns that into a signal that is usable by Aalto. The first item in the key module is the tuning menu. The default setting for this is the 12 semitone Western scale, but if you click on it, then you see a drop-down menu providing a wide variety of options from scales based on traditional cultures from around the world. The next item you have here is the voice selector. There are 4 voices available in Aalto, and these 4 circles down here show you how many voices are currently active. So if I have the voices set to 4 and I press one key on my MIDI controller, you see that just one light lights up. But if I play multiple keys, you get 4 lights lighting up. The next item we have here is the unison trigger. And with unison on, what that means is that one key will activate all of the voices available. So by just pressing one key, you see that 4 lights light up. The next item here is the glide. And the glide is essentially the time it takes to get from one note to the next. So this is 1/100th of a second. So that will be a very fast transition from one note to the next. I got to turn unison off. But if I turn the glide up to about a second here, then you will hear much more of a portamento glide type effect. That's really useful in creating portamento leads and other portamento type effects. The next item here is the bend range, and this affects the pitch wheel on your MIDI controller. The default is 7 semitones, which is a fifth, but it can go up to 48 semitones, which is 4 octaves, and this will have a very dramatic effect on the sound. And that goes 4 octaves up and 4 octaves down. The next item here is the modulation continuous control selector, and this item directly relates to the modulation outputs in the patcher. So this modulation output is directly related to this. So this means that the first MIDI continuous control will affect this modulation output, and the 2 subsequent 1 and 2 will affect the next 2 MIDI input sources. So for this situation, this would be input 1, input 2, and input 3. Input 1 on my MIDI controller is my mod wheel. So if I drag my mod over to the noise envelope and turn up the noise input, then my mod wheel will directly affect this noise parameter here. And you can see by turning it up, it is directly affecting this noise parameter here. The next output sources in the key module are the pitch, and what the pitch does is it sends a signal proportional to the key that you are playing. The velocity is here, and the velocity is how fast you press down a key on your MIDI controller. Aftertouch here is how hard you are pressing down a MIDI controller, or a MIDI key, and it's worth noting that some MIDI controllers do not have aftertouch capabilities. The final thing here is the Vox output, and this is an interesting aspect of Aalto because it sends out a different signal to each voice. There's a good demonstration here in the Aalto techniques. Here you can see that the Vox output is routed to rate of the sequencer and pitch of the oscillator. And you can see that if I change the input rate, then you are changing the signal sent to each voice independently, which is why there are 4 separate pitches and 4 separate patterns going on in this patch. And that is the key module in Aalto. Thanks so much for watching, everyone.